Hey friends, I'm Mel and welcome to my kitchen. One of the things I love most about summer are our laid-back, casual dinners and cookouts. And as much as my family loves the old favorites that I've always made, I've enjoyed making a lot of new recipes this summer. And tonight I want to share 6 of them with you. They're delicious, quick, and easy. Perfect for a cookout, but you might just find yourself making them all year long. I'm also sharing a very special offer from Rita Cutlery today that you won't want to miss. So let's get started with a crack pasta salad. I have about a pound of some elbow macaroni. Just going to cook this about 7 minutes. You just want it al dente. The recipe calls for a short noodle like a penne or a bow tie, but I had this box of elbows open, so I want to use it up. Of course, we're going to drain those noodles off, and we want to rinse it with some really cold water to begin getting those noodles nice and cool to make our salad. And I also cooked up some bacon in the oven. You're welcome to just use pre-cooked bacon pieces, but I had this on hand, so that is what I did. Let's get to doing our dicing. I got another fistful of bacon. If I can find a comment that was left the last time that I said I was cutting up a fistful of bacon, I'll put it on the screen for you. It was so funny. They had me a whole Clint Eastwood trilogy of cooking shows I could do. Need about half a cup of bacon. I think I'll do one more slice. Also going to dice up just a little bit of Vidalia onion. I have half of a small one here. I just don't think you can have pasta or potato salad without an onion. I wished I had a big red onion left or even some green onions, but Vidalia will do. Also had about half a carton of grape tomatoes left. I'm going to half these and we'll throw them in too. You could add broccoli, some frozen peas, whatever kind of veggies you want you can add in here, or you don't have to add any. I do want to leave these big enough so that if certain people don't like them, they can pick them out. Alright friends, here's enough of this prepping. Let's get down to business. I'm going to use 2/3 cup of olive oil. Here's our 1/4 cup of buttermilk that we made. To make buttermilk, the ratio is 1 tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice to 1 cup of regular milk. I'm only making 1/4 cup, so I just put in about 3/4 of a teaspoon of vinegar. We are going to use about a half a cup of Duke's mayonnaise. I'm eyeballing it. And we're going to use one of these little 1-ounce containers of ranch dressing mix. As you can see, my bowl's humongous. This makes a lot. You can very easily half this recipe, but I'm taking it to Cookout today, so I just wanted to go ahead and make a big bunch. Hopefully I'll have some leftovers and I can eat on it next week, and share some with my family that's there too if they want to take some home. Now we're going to put in that half a cup of bacon and that half of Vidalia onion that I decided to throw in, and those half grape tomatoes. I think that's going to make it super good. We're also going to put in about 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. The recipe calls for 1/4 cup of fresh parsley. I didn't have that, so I'm just going to sprinkle some in. You could use basil or green onions. It's kind of just a little peppery sort of taste. I'm just going to use this dried parsley. Since I've got that onion in there, this is really more just for color, and I'll probably sprinkle some of this on top too. Now we're going to add in our pound of pasta. I think I'm going to switch over to my big spoon and get all of this stirred together. My pasta is nice and cold. I rinsed it thoroughly under cold water and then rinsed it again really good before I put it in here. I think that little bit of olive oil that we put in this recipe, not only is it going to, give it a little bit of twang with that ranch, but I also think it's going to give a really nice texture to the pasta. You know, sometimes pasta salad gets dried out, and I think the oil will help with that. And just like anything, once you've refrigerated it and you open it back up, if you need to add you a little bit more mayonnaise or just some bottled ranch dressing, go ahead and do that. Boy, wouldn't some cucumber be good in here. I wished I had a cucumber. And if you had leftover chicken or rotisserie chicken, boy, that would be good chunked up in here too. I'm going to give it a little bite before I put it in the fridge. Tastes pretty good already, but it's going to taste even better here in about 5 or 6 hours after it's had time to set in the refrigerator. Tonight, we are going to make the best burgers ever. At least that is what this recipe's name is. I've never made them where I have used breadcrumbs before, or maybe even Parmesan cheese, but here we go. Let's mix them up. We're actually doing 2 pounds of ground beef, so I am doubling the recipe. We're doing a whole teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of pepper. The recipe called for 1 teaspoon for 2 pounds of meat of lightly dried basil. But when you get this kind that's in this little container in the produce department, you actually use about double what you do for dried herbs. This lasts about 4 weeks once you've opened it, and I'm just throwing this in everything I make right now. The recipe called for Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, but what I have on hand is panko traditional. So we're going to use 4 tablespoons of that. We are also going to use 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. This recipe called for 3 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce, which would be 6 that I would need for 2 pounds of meat. I feel about like I do soy sauce with teriyaki sauce. It ain't my favorite, so I'm using Worcestershire, and that comes to a little over 1/3 of a cup, but we're going to go a little light with it. And I am so very happy that Ryan's here tonight to mix all this together and patty out my hamburgers, because I really hate doing it. I don't know why, but it's not my most favorite thing to do. So I'm glad Ryan's here to do it. We're going to do 6 patties. We're doing 1/3 pound patties. So 3 patties per pound. Look at all the math I've done today. I feel like I've need a diploma.
Okay, does that look
That looks good to me.
homogeneous enough for you?
That looks good. I really took a chance on this pasta salad. I made it for the 4th of July, and I had never made it before. I don't usually take something for other people to eat if I haven't had it before, but this was so delicious. Everybody loved it and was asking about it. And normally they love, the regular macaroni salad that we always have, but everybody was just loving it. So there was plenty. They took some home and we brought some home. Then that's when we decided to try these burgers because it tastes so good. On July 4th, we wanted burgers again. I highly recommend this crack pasta salad, and these burgers were so good. That basil in there really did something to the flavor. Give these a try. I think that you'll really like them. It's hard for me to show how nice this looked because I like a lot of lettuce on my burger, but these were absolutely delicious. You guys have seen me use my Rata knives week in and week out for over 2 years now, and a lot of you have told me how much you enjoy yours too. If you're not familiar with Rata cutlery, they offer the best 100% American-made kitchen utensils and knives. Their knives are well made, super sharp, and affordable. Every product is 100% American made and carries their lifetime guarantee. But did you know that Rata has a fundraising program that can help your organization reach their goals? It's perfect for schools, churches, sports teams, any organization that needs to raise funds. And Rata has made this process so easy with your choice of a traditional catalog fundraiser, an online selling option, or you can choose to do both. And they provide lots of helpful tools and resources to support your group's leader every step of the way. And if you've ever been the one in charge of a fundraiser, you know how important that is. And your organization will earn 40% profit, no matter how you choose to sell or how long your fundraiser lasts. It's all up to you. You're dealing directly with the manufacturer. That means exceptional pricing and top-notch customer service. Rada offers the best knives at the best value for your supporters. They're getting outstanding craftsmanship while supporting American jobs. Rada's helped tens of thousands of organizations hold successful fundraisers. To see what option's best for you, check out radacutlery.com/fundraising for more information and to request catalogs. And if you enter the referral code MAIL101, you'll receive a free regular paring knife along with your fundraising catalogs. I'll leave everything linked below so you can get more information, and don't forget to use that referral code MAIL101 when requesting your catalogs so you can get that free paring knife. And thank you so much for Rada for sponsoring today's video. I've got some new picnic type foods that I am wanting to try, so I thought we would just do them all tonight, and if it turns out that the family likes them, I'll pull them back out for Labor Day. And the great thing about all of them is they're prep ahead. We're gonna do, it's easy peel. We're gonna do some marinated hot dogs. And if you have been here and seen what my kids call Freddy Krueger dogs, this is going to look a lot like them, but these are actually going to have a sweet, savory little sauce that they're going to marinate in for a little while. First thing we're going to do is cut our dogs, and for this we're going to use 2 wooden spoons. Let's just get this discussion out of the way. This is my teaspoon. This is only used to stir tea. That's why it looks like this. So don't worry about this, it's all fine. What we actually need them for is this rolled rounded edge. We're gonna take our wooden spoon, set us a hot dog in between it, and I am gonna cut down the middle this time. Don't go all the way through. Then we're just gonna take our knife and make sideways, diagonal cuts down our dog. Then we're going to turn around and go the other direction. And our wooden spoon just keeps us from cutting all the way through the hot dog. And I don't think I told you, the reason my kids call them the Freddy Krueger dogs, when these cook up, they look like Freddy Krueger from the old Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Looks like he's got a hold of them. Now we're going to make our marinade for our hot dogs. We're going to start with a 1/2 cup of chili sauce. I just happened to have bought a bottle for something not long ago, and this kind of finishes it off. But if you don't have chili sauce, I'll leave you a link below for a recipe where you can make it at home. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, about 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, and I'm using 1 heaping tablespoon of brown sugar, plus just a little more. My husband loves the brown sugar. Now for the rest of our wet ingredients, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce and 1.5 teaspoons of mustard. I'm using a Dijon, but yellow mustard works just fine. We'll get all this mixed together. Now we're going to take this rich, thick marinade, pour it right in this bag with our dogs. Going to get all of our dogs saturated and covered in that sauce. And I'm just going to put them in the refrigerator and let them marinate for a few hours. You could actually do this overnight if you want to. This is going to be one of those recipes that you really don't have any measurements for. You just kind of throw in what you want. It's just a veggie salad. I thought about putting some pasta with it, but I think I'm not. And I'm just starting by breaking apart some cauliflower and broccoli into smaller pieces and trimming the big stems off of it. I found this recipe from a girl on TikTok. I think her name is Patience, but her handle or channel name or whatever you call it on TikTok is called Trailer Park Pretty. And that's spelled Pretti. And it's like all together with no spaces. She said this was her go-to summer salad, and even her husband, who really didn't like vegetables, enjoyed this. So that got my attention. And I've got about this much broccoli and cauliflower in a bowl. How you like that term? About this much. Maybe 2.5 fistfuls. Maybe 2 cups, something like that. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Come here, Patrick. Look at this. Look at this. Look. How weird.
Ooh, that is weird.
That's weird, ain't it?
I can spell a little.
Don't say it. The camera's rolling. Don't even say it. That is weird. I wonder what that is. You reckon it was going to be another one? Okay, I've got me 1 red bell pepper. I'm just going to cut it up. I've also got about 2 green onions here, giving them a quick little chop. In they go. I do love a good green onion. I've also just got me some pepperoni here. And I think I'm just gonna quarter these pepperoni slices. Changed my mind. I want them a little smaller. I just kind of gotta peel them apart. If you like salami and those kind of meats, this would really be good in here. Also, if you like black olives, I think that would be good in here. I'm not a huge fan of olives, but I do like black olives in a salad like this, or maybe on a real crispy veggie pizza. This is one of those salads that's really good to make when you need to clean out your fridge. I'm going to throw in a few of these mild banana pepper rings that I had in the fridge. I like these on like sandwiches and stuff like that, especially like Italian sandwiches. And the little pepperoncini peppers would be good in here if you like a lot of spice. Now I'm just going to sprinkle some grated Parmesan cheese on here. And I am going to put some Italian dressing over the top. And I'm using this Kraft Deluxe Supreme Italian. I had not had this in so long, and I got it to use in a recipe recently. I forgot how good this was. It's not a flavor like the Olive Garden, but it's just a really stinking good Italian dressing. I like it so much better than the zesty one that I used to marinate chicken. After mixing it up, I decided a little more dressing was needed. This is really just a customizable salad to your flavor and your taste, whatever you like. Let's give it a little bite. That's already really good. I'm going to put it in the fridge for a few hours and pull that out with our dogs tonight. The dogs have been marinating. I've got my skillet on about medium heat. And I'm just going to fry these up right here on top of the stove. You could definitely grill them. Most of the time, I bake hot dogs off in the oven if I do them inside. But we're going to do the old pan fry method tonight. I've just cooked these up here, 4 or 5 minutes tops. And I've just kind of rotated them till they've got all sides nice and crispy, crunchy looking. Patrick likes for me to put a little bit of cheese down in his bun. Then I'm going to put just a little bit of this hot dog chili sauce, a little bit of mustard. I made some dogs that were just a little bit browned. Then I took some others and give them a little bit of a crustiness, a little bit more done. Going to give Patrick one of each to try. These dogs definitely don't photograph very well, but Patrick said they were absolutely delicious. Y'all know I don't even eat hot dogs. The crunchier, the better, he said. Also, these freeze really well. I went ahead and made the whole pack and you can put them in the freezer and pull them out later. And the salad, oh my goodness, I loved this. I've eaten off of it the whole week, and this is definitely one of those things that was worth making just for me. Nobody else in my house would eat this, but I definitely enjoyed it, and it was worth the time and the trouble to make it for myself. Here's how I hard boil eggs. As soon as they come to a rolling boil, I leave them on the stove eye, but I turn it off. I set a timer for 19 minutes and I put the lid on, and I leave them sitting there and I don't touch them. As soon as that timer's up, I pull them off and I begin rinsing them with cold water. I don't do any kind of ice bath or anything like that. I also don't put anything in the water. I know everybody has a method for doing hard-boiled eggs, so leave me yours in the comments below. But for me, this is the easiest way that I found to do them, that they peel easily and they're always just perfectly done. And I'm hard boiling these eggs because I'm making a brand new egg salad. I've had this recipe tucked back for a long time, and I finally had the time to try it. So I hope you enjoy this. Today, we are going to make some egg salad. This is one I have never made before, and it starts with 3 ounces of cream cheese. We're going to take a hand mixer to this, and we are going to beat it until it is nice and smooth. Now I'm going to put in a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Normally, I just eyeball my egg salad, but when I try a recipe for the first time, I like to really go by the original recipe. Once I've tried it the original way, then I'll tweak around on it. We're also going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and just about 1/8 teaspoon of pepper and salt. We're just going to chop our eggs up, and I don't like mine chopped up real little. I just like to rough chop them because I really like to take a fork to mine and kind of just mush them up. I have just a delicious little simple egg salad that I normally make all the time. It's a lot like making deviled eggs. It's just mayonnaise, mustard, sweet pickle relish, a little bit of salt and pepper. And I love it. But every now and again, you just want to try a new recipe for something. I was very intrigued because it's got the cream cheese, just a little bit of mayonnaise, no mustard. Alrighty, let's give her a good mix here. It definitely looks weird to me to have no pickles in here, but it really does look good and creamy. This is very pretty. It's a very light yellow color, and I just have never even thought about using cream cheese in an egg salad. That's a really good flavor already. I'm going to let mine chill for a couple hours, then I'll make me a sandwich and I'll let you know my final verdict. This egg salad was so good. The cream cheese gave it this extra body. It made it really filling. I did miss the pickles a little bit in there, and I shared this with my mom, and she kind of felt the same way, and she said she did put some pickle relish in what I gave her, and it was really good. So if you definitely are trying to stretch your egg salad, this is a great way to do it. And like I said, it was really delicious. It gave it a really neat flavor and a really thick kind of body. So this is one I will definitely keep in the back of my mind every time I want to make egg salad. We're going to make us a little no-bake dessert tonight. This one is really cool and refreshing. Don't have to heat up the oven or anything. And it's been so hot here, this one is going to be a good treat. First, we'll mix our pudding, and I'm using one of the small 3.4 ounce boxes of instant vanilla pudding. And I'm only using 1.5 cups of milk. The box says to use 2, but for the recipe, we use 1.5. Now we'll just set this aside for a minute. Now I'm using about 9 Twinkies, and I'm just spreading them out here in the bottom of like an 8x8 size pan, and I just kind of broke some apart here and made it work the best I could. Actually, I just recounted. I just used 8 Twinkies. Next is our fruit layer, and I've got about 23 ounce size container of these strawberries that were frozen in sugar, and I've had them in the fridge overnight thawing out. And I'm going to use a slotted spoon at first just to make sure that I do get a lot of fruit all throughout here. And it's okay if the juice comes on here too. As a matter of fact, we're going to pour some of this juice over top of this in a minute. I just want to make sure that I do get plenty of fruit though. Pieces of fruit, that is. And it doesn't just have to be strawberries. I think this would be delicious with blueberries, raspberries, or just a combination of any fruits, maybe even peaches too. And this doesn't have to be frozen fruit. You can use fresh fruit. I just happened to have this big container in the freezer and it needed to be used up. Now I'm going to take about half of this juice that I have left, and I'm just going to drizzle it over these strawberries and this cake. Now, very carefully, we're going to take our pudding and we're just going to put it over the top and spread it out. You can see how nice that's set up in just a couple minutes here on the counter. All I had in my pantry was the regular vanilla pudding, but you could definitely make this sugar-free. You could use the light Cool Whip, and you could also use like an angel food cake instead of the Twinkies, but I really love a Twinkie, and I really love it in here too. Back when I first got married, I used to take this dish a lot when we would have little potlucks and stuff at work, and the girls always kidded me that every recipe I had used Twinkies because I had a number of variations on this one. I've also had my Cool Whip thawing out in the fridge overnight, so it's going to be nice and fluffy and spreadable. And I'm just going to dump it all out here to start with. Then we'll spread it down a little bit. This is a perfect little recipe for people like me who like things that look rustic. I'm not good at making things look perfect, and this one is just beautifully messy. It's just all thrown together. The only thing about using the frozen strawberries, they're just never as pretty as a big fresh strawberry. But I did save a few of the prettier ones just to put on top. You know what would really be pretty is a big green mint leaf. I don't have that, but I do have some little red sugar crystals. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. You're never too old for sprinkles. That's really cute, even though I didn't have the big fresh strawberries or the mint to put on it. I think it still looks really cute. We're going to put it in the refrigerator for a few hours, and then, best of all, when we pull it out, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I know this thing is going to taste great. Oh friends, this one brought back so many good memories. This is so light and refreshing and so easy to make and put together. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than this. And again, there are so many combinations of fruit and puddings that you can make it with, and messing around with all the different sugar-free options of it too. It's not the kind of recipe that is good after it's set for a long time, so you really want to eat this within just a couple days, but that is okay. It probably won't be around that long anyway. Friends, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up before you go if you found something you liked. And for sure, don't forget to check out Rita Cutlery and their fundraising programs. And that referral code is MAIL101 to get yourself a free regular paring knife. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I appreciate you. And until next time, I send you love from my kitchen.